Hello, welcome to Exotic Gardening UK, Yorkshire Kris Weekly, and in this week's episode we'll be looking at the successes and failures of the garden in 2021. One of the big successes of this growing season has to be this amazing Schefflera or umbrella plant. This is Schefflera macrophylla and it's gone from strength to strength. Most people think this is sort of half hardy, maybe tender, but I've had this planted out for a couple of years now and it's gone through the worst winter I've had and it didn't defoliate. Yes, the bamboo hedge helps by protecting it somewhat from the snow and the ice, but it's come through unblemished and has this wonderful flush of leaves and it's absolutely stunning to look at. The newest leaves with this bronzy colour to them, and it's continuing growing all the way through the growing season. Absolute stellar plant. I'm so glad it's proved to be hardy. It's definitely one of the successes of 2021. Here's one of my failures for 2021. Not the view you can see immediately in front of you, but if we just look down, we've got the remains of a palm tree. So this was a Mule Palm, which is a Butia Syagris cross, and it's been nicely covered by the Spanish flag now, but we've still got the stump there. This died, or pretty much has died, because of the cold winter we had, and it's sort of an important point, this part of the garden. If I just zoom back out, it's on a corner that you come round the winding path before you get to the jungle hut, so it needs to have a really good plant combination here, something to catch the eye, and because that's gone, it's meant there's no big focal point to this corner bed. I've got the nice Sullen Storm and Coleus, vibrant reds, and we've also, early on in the year, we had the wonderful Geranium palmatum, which flowered in May and early June, but now that's gone over. We don't have that sort of focal point to this part of the garden. So the death or demise of this palm has meant that we don't have that really nice corner to look at. So I'll be digging up the palm stump next spring if there's no sign of life and replacing it with something else to catch the eye on this corner. Another success of 2021 and something I'm really proud of is this Manger Bayer bed. This was the first big plant I planted back in 2013 when we moved into this garden, and I've let it grow for the last 8 years and lots of leaves were covering this bed, and earlier in the year I cut back a good 30 or so leaves, exposing the trunk so you can see how vast and enormous this plant is, and it's continued growing, pushing out about 6-7 leaves already this season. Still got a few more months to push out a few more leaves. And around it we've got cleared all the plants around it, all the princeps palms and aloes and things like that, and we've replaced it with lots of gravel. We've got lots of it's sort of summer bedding in a way, because it's the echiverias and some of the tender aloes. We've also got things like this wonderful agapanthus here, midnight agapanthus over there that's coming into bloom now, aracemia around there, and some self-seeded other plants around there as well. And I really like this bed, and I think it's been one of the highlights of 2021, and we'll see what we can do to this area for next season as well. Another failure of 2021 has been the demise of two wonderful palms, Butia catarrhensis, which had 2 specimens. Again, I've covered it up with scrambling plants like the Spanish flag and got the dahlias around it as well. So it's right in the centre, we've got the trunk there, and that completely got killed off by the colder weather. Other Butias in the garden have done fantastically well. Aries spatha and odorata completely untouched by winter, but these two catarrhensis just not hard enough for my location, so I won't be growing those again. So that is a lesson learned, but I've hopefully disguised it by all these colourful sort of annual and bedding plants around here as well. So that has been a bit disappointing, but it means I have got space for another plant in this area, and I've got some very nice interesting hybrid palms that I'll eventually plant out in this corner. Another success of 2021 has been the expansion of these pineapple lilies, Eucomis bicolor. Planted 3 bulbs a couple of years, well, 3 or 4 years ago now in this spot, and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 flower heads this year. So they've bulked up over the last couple of years and sort of made a really good presence on this sort of tight corner here in this decking area, and it's in sort of sunny shade. It's nicely watered, this area, and the plants really appreciate that. Nice and hardy, and we've also got a nice climber mingling through this area as well, this morning glory, and I think it's just a nice little group of exotic but very hardy plants on this corner. Another disappointment has been the purchase of quite a few bulbs from a certain bulb company. I bought lots of caladium bulbs and some colocasia bulbs, and they've just not performed well. Most, when I got them, were completely rotten, and I had to get some replacements, and those replacements, half of those are rotten, but I gave up to complaining to the company and just planted out the ones that were viable. And the caladiums have done okay, but like I said, most were rotten on arrival, and the colocasias, I'm not certain they are what they're meant to be. So I've got a very nice dark leaved shiny colocasia here, and I've also got another one that's not doing too well in the propagator. So I won't be using that company again, so I want to purchase bulbs there from a good source, disease free and rot free, so that I've got a good chance of growing them well throughout the year in the UK. Another planting success of 2021 has been this combination of plants. So we've got the very tender plants such as the bloodleaf or irisine on the right hand side with the wonderful reddish purple leaves. We've got the plectranthus in the middle, and then contrasting with that we've got the hardy Persicaria lime leaf over here with the same colour flowers that the bees just adore in here as the irisine over there, and that's picked up throughout the colouring of the stems as well. So a really nice combination that does well in this sort of partial shady area. So very happy with this planting combination, and who knows, I might plant it in this way next year, or we can do it completely differently because we've got a mixture of tender plants as well as hardy plants. Another disappointment has been these ornamental gourds. I planted them in these tubs here on the decking, and they've got good sun, but the compost mixture and the amount of watering I've given them can't have been enough, combined with the cool summer. There's not been great growing conditions for these gourds. As you can see, the netting over here has only been partially covered. We do have some fruits forming, and we've got some nice ones that are overhanging, but not that many. I wanted this to be a full wall of green, and then I wanted to hang down from the pergola. And then if we look up at the pergola, a lot of the vines or the gourds have gone quite well over, but not that much leaf cover. And this is the best of the fruits here. So this is a nice ornamental gourd. Still got some time to grow and develop, but there's not been many. I wanted lots all over this area to look really striking as you come out onto the pergola. I'll try them probably next year with some better compost, and hopefully they'll have a warmer summer so they can develop even better. And finally, a failure that's sort of turned into a success has been the late showing of all my seed grown annual plants, such as this Spanish flag behind me. I had a disaster in spring where things like my Tophonias and also my zinnias and my Spanish flag, I sowed them at the right time, sort of early April time to mid-April, and green fly just took over and the seedlings didn't do well at all. So I scrapped those and did another sowing sort of in middle of May, so quite late on for sowing seeds, and it meant my plants were much smaller earlier on in the season, but I planted them out anyway in sort of middle of June, and they've rewarded me with colour later on in the year. So we're well into September now, and these are still flowering and coming into flower, and this is growing up my blue bamboo in this case, but I've got it dotted right around the garden. I've got Tophonias over there that still got loads of flowers yet to come, my Cleome as well, just come into bloom a month or two later than normal. So that failure of not getting that early colour in the season is actually turned into a success, because as we go into September and October, I've got fresh flowers and vibrancy and colour coming into the garden when I wouldn't quite have expected that much colour at this time of year. Thank you for watching this edition of Exotic Gardening UK. Join me next week where we'll be doing more in the garden.